Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review the 2018 comedy horror Camp Death 3 in 2D. Now this is a comedy horror parody spoof, whatever you want to call it, B-movie, that your likability towards this movie will depend on a couple of things basically. Your sense of humour and your patience with low budget movies. If you're okay on both levels, you're gonna have a blast with this movie, guys, because this movie is not to be taken seriously. This film is almost like if Porky's, Caddyshack and the Police Academy had sex with Friday the 13th. This would be their illegitimate child, this movie. It's absolutely bonkers, is this film. It really is. And this film focuses on Camp Death, or Camp Crystal Meph as it is called, which again gives you the huge clue there. That has seen a number of murders at this camp throughout the years, a la Friday the 13th type stuff, by crazed serial killer, and they decide to reopen it and make it a camp for the mentally challenged people, or people with mental illness, or the criminally insane, as you would, of course. So it is run by two naive camp leaders and a particularly grumpy guy that owns the camp, who just likes to run around swearing all the time. And lo and behold, guess what happens? Yes, there are lots of grisly deaths that take place. Now, the strong element of this movie is not its story, guys. It really isn't. It's something you've seen a million times before, dialed up to 11, should I say. And this film is chocked full, scene to scene, of gags. Some of them hit, and you will genuinely laugh out loud a few times. I did. I've got to be honest, guys. Even though it's completely juvenile, some of the humour in this film, I did find myself laughing at it, and some of it didn't hit. And a lot of that will depend on your humour style. I can only imagine it was a fun set making this film. I don't know how they got through some of the scenes. I genuinely don't, because, like I said, no film is safe here. They even do a bit of a parody of Return of the Jedi in this film. Some of the kills that take place in this movie are actually surprisingly graphic at times, but in a comedic way. They've got a comedic twist to them, and you know fairly early on in this movie what to expect. Well, you know from the first scene what you're going to get with this movie. But there's also a musical number in this film called I'm a Little Effed Up in the Head. So again, you know what you're getting with this film. The writers of this film and the creators of the film are throwing everything at the screen. Some of it is stuck, some of it hasn't. One thing I kept thinking while watching this film is I would be deeply interested to see what this film crew, because they're obviously very creative with what the budget they've got, and this is a micro budget, guys. I would be very interested to see what they could create with a bigger budget and with someone reining them in a little bit, because clearly they've wrote like crazy for this, wrote all these jokes and gags and just thrown them all into the movie, and some of them work and some of them don't, and it does feel a bit messy from time to time. It almost felt like some of it did need tidying up and reining in a little bit. It didn't have to be gag after gag after gag after gag. It almost got a little bit tiresome after a while, but still funny. There was lots of bizarre inventive kills in this film, and it almost felt like a trauma film at times as well. It felt inspired by, you know, the classic trauma films in years gone by. But there is no denying this film is an awful lot of fun. You will not believe some of the things you see in this film. You will not believe some of the things you hear in this film. And I do warn you, if you are easily offended, don't watch this film. You're gonna hate it. This is almost a film that's sticking two fingers up at the, you know, this awful culture that we have nowadays of people that are easily offended at anything. Well, you could easily get offended with this film, but you know, click your brain off, watch it, have fun, have a laugh and a giggle. And this, for me, in regards to the humour here that you see and some of the ideas that they put on screen here, fascinating and very, very creative. I think that these guys are very creative people that have made this film, and I had an awful lot of fun watching it. So from my perspective, guys, I'm not scoring this on the budget, I'm not scoring this film on the quality. I'm scoring this film on an entertainment factor, an enjoyment factor, and complete and utter bonkers factor, because that's a great way to describe this film. Is utterly bonkers. Very, very funny at times. So I'm going to give this film a 7 out of 10, guys, for those reasons alone. Please don't watch this film thinking you're watching a highly polished, cinema type movie. You ain't getting that. It's very low budget but made by very creative people, and it is a very, very entertaining film and a lot of fun to watch, and I had a blast watching it. Yes, I do think it is a bit messy at times, but it is undeniably funny. So I hope you enjoyed this review, guys, and I shall see you next time on Screen Stars.